Jersey. I don't know where it is, but we'll find out. Rich, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? Where are you? How things going?
Mad Dog. It's
yes.
from Long Island. I'm just coming in on the Francesa raft, refugee island over here.
Refugee. You know what? We've had a lot of those folks join us, and you are all welcome. So the refugee raft has found its way to 49th and 6th. Good job. Good to have you aboard.
I'm back. All right, so here, I'm going to name some names for you, and I want you to just tell me. We'll make this quick. Ready?
Yep.
Got a big problem with Alan Trammell getting to the Hall of Fame.
Listen, I love Trammell. He's a nice guy, and he was a very good player. I do not, myself, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I agree. Not a Hall of Famer.
Who's better, Dwight Evans or Trammell?
They're about the same. They're about, you know what? You hit it right on the head. Evans and Trammell are the same kind of performer at different positions. And it's funny, you know, Allen and Morris, and I'm not trying to knock them, it's just the way it is, my opinion on it. They're on that ballot for 15 years, those writers, 15 years, and didn't get in. And Trammell's highest vote was about 40-something%. So I'm a little surprised.
Let me just say this.
Yes.
You and me, we may probably feel the same way. I kind of like the Veterans Committee until they started letting in Rizzuto, Pee Wee, all the rest of them. They ruined it. So if they really just harness it in, I don't really have a problem with Morris. But Steve Garvey doesn't get in. He won an MVP. He brought all these teams to these championship games. He had 200 hits every year, 10-time All-Star. You have Dave Parker. You have Keith Hernandez, the greatest fielding first baseman with MVP, championships, Mattingly, Kent. I could just keep on going and going. I mean, how do they fix this right off the bat? They ruin it.
Now, listen, you bring up two guys. Let's just start with Garvey since he was on the ballot. Remember, this is an executive committee that put Trammell and Morris in. It's a committee made up of a wide range of baseball folks, whether it's a couple of writers, a couple of GMs, a couple of Hall of Famers. You had to get 12 of the 16 of those votes to put you on to get you into the Hall of Fame. You could vote for as many as you want. There was, and this particular group, this committee looked at the players in the 70s and the 80s. That was the bracket they looked at this year. And Garvey is on that bracket. He did not get enough votes. And Trammell got 13. He needed 12. And Trammell got 13. But if you're asking me, and I saw them both play in their prime, both play lots of games. The whole careers. If you're asking me who's a better baseball player, I know they play different positions, and I know shortstop doesn't need the same offense as a first baseman does. But if you're asking me who's the better player, Steve Garvey or Alan Trammell, it's not even in the discussion. Garvey's a better player. And I know they play different spots, so I understand that. Garvey's a better player. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Can't even argue it. Paul in Sacramento, California. Paulie, good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm good, and I'm thankful that you're not the owner or responsible for the San Francisco Giants, decision on whether or not to give up really the base of their support financially and fan-wise. They should never, ever, and this is for the 49ers as well, never give up San Jose and the Silicon Valley. I lived in San Francisco for 28 years. If it wasn't for Silicon Valley and San Jose, that team, those fans, the money, it's all down there, Chris. It's not in the city.
Bottom line is, though, when the Giants were about to go to Tampa and they were in huge trouble in the early 90s, the A's bailed the Giants out. So when the Giants needed some help, when the A's needed some help, the Giants could care less. They had no interest in them. And if you're a good baseball team and you are put together properly and you have the right ballpark, which the Giants have, and you win, I don't care what part of San Francisco or the Bay Area, you're going to go to the Giant games. What the hell are they worried about the Oakland A's for?
They're not worried about the A's, and that's why they won't give up San Jose. Why should they worry about the A's?
Again, if they win and run the ball club right, I don't care if the A's have a ballpark that's in downtown San Francisco. Who cares? They're going to go to the Giant games.
But the value of the Giants is going to change. If the A's were in San Jose and they were drawing those people with the per capita income down there,
well, I don't know. Paul, who's going to go to Oakland A games when he wins 70 ball games? Somebody's going to go to the games.
Chris, if there's a ballpark in San Jose, the A's are going to win more than 70 games because all of those companies down there that churn, that print money, are going to have luxury suites in that stadium instead of driving 50 miles north to go watch the Giants. They'll go to a game. I lived there. They'll go to a game in their backyard in a brand new stadium, in a brand new luxury box. The A's revenues would quadruple overnight, and the Giants' revenues would shrivel overnight.
No, I totally disagree. I don't know the market. I don't know the market like you do. Be the first to admit that, but I completely disagree. The Yankees and the Mets play in facilities that are 6 miles apart. Both are successful. Both teams are successful because a Yankee fan, you make it sound like, you think a Met fan who lives in Connecticut's going to buy a suites to go to Yankee games? If you're a Giant fan and you're one of those fans, the 5% that falls in the casual category, that's different. But if you're a Giant fan living in San Jose who happens to run a big business, all of a sudden you're going to go run to watch Oakland A baseball and you've been a Giant fan your whole life? Nobody's going to do that.
A lot of people are going to do that.
Well, then they're not Giant fans. Then they're not Giant fans.
Well, they over time they might end up switching allegiance.
Well, no. Let me ask you a question: do any Yankee fans who live in Long Island have they switched allegiance to buy suites at Citi Field? They have not. They go to Yankee Stadium.
They go to Yankee Stadium, but Citi Field is not in Smithtown. You can't, and you're comparing New York to the Bay Area. Come on, I mean, you're talking about 25 million people versus 5 or 6 million.
Well, no. The Bay Area is one of the most affluent areas in the world. They got two sick. Come on, the Bay Area is phenomenal. That's one of the most affluent places in the country. For crying out loud!
And Chris, all of the affluence is on the west side of the Bay. It's not on the east side.
I buy that. I understand that. But if you're a good baseball team, let me ask you a question. Have the San Jose Sharks, have they hurt the Golden State Warriors?
They're different sports.
Well, you got the idea. It's the same winter thing. They're 40 miles apart. The casual fan looking for something to do in the middle of the wintertime. Have they hurt the San Jose Sharks have anything to do with any team in the Bay Area?
I'll tell you what. If the Sharks, if the NHL put a franchise in San Francisco, it would probably put a little dent in the Sharks. But the truth of the matter is, and the reason I called you was that the center of gravity in that market is not in San Francisco. San Francisco is the center of attention. The center of gravity, where more people live, where there are more wallets and more money, is actually down closer.
Well, let me ask you this question. Then how come the 49ers have been a complete bust in that area?
Because, and you know this, don't start twisting words around. You know the fans of the 49ers, whether they live in Los Angeles or Canada, are really turned off by the owner, the GM, and everything that happened. That has nothing to do with the fans' allegiance to the team.
Listen, Paulie, they put the 49er franchise 45 miles away from where they've been for 50, 60 years, and they haven't had a home field advantage in the last 3 years. They haven't had a home field advantage. 3 years. And now they got Garoppolo. There's empty seats all over the place. That was the worst place to put that stadium. You couldn't pick a worse place. San Francisco 49ers should be playing in San Francisco. They should not be playing in Palo Alto, California. I don't buy the fact. You can't sit there and tell me you put the Oakland A's in San Jose, California, with the way the Giants do their business and the way that ballpark is and how good the team is. You cannot sit there and tell me that the Giants would have been affected. Now, again, I don't live there. I understand. But I think that stuff's overrated. If you put Citi Field right next to Yankee Stadium, if you're a Yankee fan and you grow up and you live out there in Huntington, Long Island, do you buy a suite to go to Met games? You do not. If you're a Giant fan living in San Jose, just because the A's moved to San Jose, you're not going to go to A games. You're still going to go to Giant games. 8 in front of the hour, we continue. Mad Dog.